Hopefully I'm live by now. Maybe not. I gotta go check now. I told you, it doesn't always go live. So I gotta go check manually. Love you, Twitch, but holy crap. Now Twitch, like, isn't even loading for me, so I'm not even sure if I'm live at all. Looks like I am. I'm sorry to my YouTube viewers. On the new channel. Okay, seriously? Okay, there we go. It looks like I am, in fact, live. So I'd just like to share this for everyone. Thank you to all 119 of you who made this possible. As you can see, we actually have our new channel set up for the Lorerunner and for all of those wonderful things that, like the stream uploads, which will be going live to that basically immediately. So, woo! Anybody feel like bookmarking, feel free. I'm going to go ahead and add that to the website super quick, now that that's finally set up. So, yay. Excitement. So, who here wants to talk about Illidan before we get into more of Pandaria? Anybody? Anybody at all? No? Nobody? Okay. Well, we'll never talk about Illidan ever then. It's now or literally never. I mean, that seems fair, right? You know, just all or nothing kind of a perspective, you know. Okay, there we go. You know, Meadfist has a good point. You guys aren't actually prepared. That's a good question, Preacher. I'm not sure I want to know the answer to that one. It's a little weird. Illidan? I don't know, Permeus. He's some guy who, like, everyone hates, apparently. I mean, just absolutely despises this guy. Loathes and hates him. There we go. No, I have not, Myron. I missed the fact that it came out. Oops. Okay, so now that we've got all that updated, let's talk about Illidan. So, when I say Illidan, I of course refer to Illidan the book. For those of you not aware, a book called Illidan came out relatively recently. It was pretty awesome. It contained a lot of what I expected, to be as blunt as I can. It contained a lot of smoothing out of the lore. In other words, rather than just kind of accepting BC as it is as canon, they tried to make a few things make more sense. For example, Kil'jaeden had actually been trying to go after Kael'thas since Frozen Throne. You remember the scene where Kil'jaeden shows up to scold Illidan? That's the first time he had contact with him, and was working on getting him together for that pretty much ever since. Whoops, nope. That was kind of his goal there. He also, so that was smoothed out a little bit. It also kind of smoothed out the timeline a wee bit of the overall, yes, of the presentation of the story. For example, we know that the portal, the Dark Portal, was opened roughly 2 months prior to Illidan's defeat and at the end of the Black Temple. We also know a few other things about specifics, like, again, to go into a little bit of details, excuse me. We know that High Lord Cruel and the Burning Legion in general had been working to open portals into Azeroth and Outland, specifically to try and defeat Illidan, because Illidan was seen as an actual threat to them for reasons I'll go into in a moment. So that the whole demonic invasion of Azeroth, that was literally just to provoke us into attacking Illidan, so that we would actually be fighting against Illidan full time. In fact, our entire campaign against Illidan was basically a mistake. Now, let's not make that sound like Illidan was a good guy, because that is very much not the truth. Quite the contrary, Illidan was doing some pretty questionable things at the time. A little bit too openly. However, and I'll talk about some of those in a moment. But a lot of the inconsistencies in Illidan being presented as this big, horribly, disgustingly evil person was actually deceptions on behalf of the Burning Legion, trying to convince us and everyone else basically to fight against him. Because the Burning Legion actually feared Illidan. I suppose I should probably explain why that is. Do I have viewers? Is there anyone on right now? Nobody's talking right now. That's fine. I just want to make sure I have people present while I deal with something here. I'll wait for a moment while I get some water. Ah, there we go. I also have no idea what my chat delay is right now. So this will be a good way to find that out. Just wait a moment. Waiting a moment. Waiting a moment. Okay, Fallout Bear is there. So that's our chat delay. Pretty bad chat delay today. Illidan... Lorerunner.com green. It hasn't been updated with it yet because I don't have it done yet, and I'm not committing to a schedule when I don't have the stuff for the schedule, but Lorerunner.com is where the schedule will be. Hey, Shayandra. Ooh, someone's fighting anger right now. So... Illidan, okay. Maiev wanted to go after Illidan, was turned down by everyone. A lot of people said, no, we're not participating in your feud against Illidan. And, so they were like, okay, fine. She went with her own private army and basically got massacred. Akama ended up betraying her, had to betray her. Then Akama got betrayed by Illidan. All of this was done to kill all of them and get together a huge amount of souls, both from the dead of the army and from the dead in Auchindoun, okay? All these souls were used to power this very, very powerful portal. You might be like, well, what do you mean? Why would they need a very, very powerful portal? The portal led to Nethzara. I know what you're thinking. Why is that significant? What the heck is Nethzara? Nethzara is the homeworld of the Nethrezim. Illidan opened a portal to the homeworld of the Nethrezim and staged an operation there where he spent considerable time and effort trying to harass them, defeat them, took a powerful demonic artifact called the Compass of Argus, which allowed someone to actually find Argus. For those of you who don't know, Argus is the homeworld of the Eridar and the Legion capital world. Excuse me. So they took this compass, defeated several Nethrezim. Keep in mind, Nethzara is in the Twisting Nether, which means any Nethrezim defeated there are permanently killed, okay? Illidan spent so much time and effort on Nethzara that a huge amount of Legion forces pulled back and started assaulting his forces there, right? Then, this was all part of the plan, Illidan had his forces withdraw with the compass, so they would be able to find Argus in the future, and basically detonated the portal in a very similar fashion to how the portal on Outland detonated on Draenor, except worse. It absolutely annihilated Nethzara. Let me say that again in case you missed it. Illidan's plan, using the portal as basically a huge bomb, destroyed the entire planet, and because this is in the Twisting Nether, permanently killed all of the demons that were there, including a huge volume of Nethrezim. This is mentioned as being the first biggest loss the Legion has ever had. Ever. Because even when they lost against Azeroth, they just got back up again. I mean, they did lose, absolutely. But none of the demons we defeated back in back in the War of the Ancients and back during Warcraft 3 stayed defeated. These ones are gone. So that was not exactly insignificant. I like it, Chandra. Especially N'Zoth. So that wasn't exactly an insignificant victory, as you might imagine. Shortly after this, Illidan decided to basically astrally project himself to Argus to try and scout out. Yeah, exactly, Warwager. Illidan was astrally projecting through the temples and the palaces of Argus itself, and was very, very nearly caught by Kil'jaeden. This is important to note, because if he had been caught by Kil'jaeden, he would have been screwed, and that would have been the end of Illidan. He was saved by, and I'm just going to quote here, a mysterious voice. I'll get more into that in a minute. It's not quite that, Azure. It's more like he sent an elite fighting force that was holding the line specifically to antagonize the Legion into sending more and more reinforcements. If they had continued to stay there, they would eventually have been overrun, of course. He had no ability to take or hold territory at all. His entire plan was draw in as many forces as possible and then drop a bomb on their face. This was, however, forces of Elves, Naga, and, of course, his own demons. So yeah, very much a hit and run down. A very, very smart tactic, especially when fighting something like the Legion. Is it you? No. Is it down? Below? I never remember where the Alliance one is. Does anyone know where the Alliance flight trainer is? Because I don't remember. Anyways, the mysterious voice saved him from Kil'jaeden. Now, about a month or so prior to Illidan's defeat in the Black Temple is when Magtheridon and Vosh were defeated. And the overall forces of us... Oh, here he is. God, I didn't even see him. The overall forces of us were continuing to home in on him, basically. There we go. There's a lot of fleshing out of little details, like how Illidan had been training demon hunters specifically to try and prep for an invasion on Argus. Illidan's plan was to do the exact same thing that Warwager just mentioned. Open a portal to Argus, blah, blah, blah. Illidan was trying to open a portal to Argus pretty much all the time we were going through Shadowmoon Valley, and the entire time we were assaulting the Black Temple. Now this is funny, because to make this clear, the Illidari Council and some of the forces of the Illidari were actively trying to conquer/rule Outland, right? I kind of mentioned that before. Illidan was not trying to, didn't care at all. He was literally in the backdrop. You remember how I mentioned when we were going through BC, how I always felt that Illidan was just kind of segregating himself, like he was over there on his pedestal while they were actually running the show? Well, that was actually true, apparently. It's just, Illidan wasn't just sitting over there being stupid, like was presented in BC. He was over there trying to make this portal to Argus happen, to do the same thing to Argus directly. Now, he failed because we kind of started interrupting him. We invaded Black Temple. Maiev came straight after him, blah, 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 blah. One of Illidan's last acts was to send forth the last of his demon hunters, including the player character demon hunter, through this portal as basically a last-ditch effort right before... well, I shouldn't say right. Minutes before Illidan himself was defeated and killed. I think that would be irony, Myron. Yeah, so we kind of screwed that up a wee bit there. Hey, God Mode. It is worth noting that there was a lot of things... I mean, okay, so I mentioned that the Legion was directly manipulating us into thinking Illidan was our enemy. Kael'thas was a part of that as well. In fact, you remember that army that Kael'thas sent that ended up becoming the Scryers? That was originally sent to try and continue to provoke the forces of the Naru and us, the forces of Azeroth, into thinking Illidan was assaulting what was effectively an innocent thing, and it wasn't. That was Legion-inspired. The Gruul was actually allied with Illidan and was working basically together with him in order to ensure some decency of tranquility. Magtheridon, of course, making the Fell Orcs in order to forge an army that could actually withstand the Legion large enough in order to do things like the thing on Netzera. There were fel orcs there as well. Basically, a lot of fleshing out of little details that made BC make more sense is the majority of what the book was about. Yes, even in the book, Illidan is not described as a good guy, which I think is good, because Illidan is not a good guy. He is a... Well, I'm saying that wrong. He is definitely on the side of good, but yeah, he was never a nice person. He was never a polite, diplomatic, kind person. But he was always, in my personal opinion, a hero. He was always someone who has tried to do the right thing. He's just tried to do it in his own way. He's a very good definition of an anti-hero. That being said, there's one last thing in the book that has been extremely controversial. And I've been building up to this. And some people think it's interpretive, some people think it's terrible. I have heard an obscene amount of complaining about this last point. So let me just go and get my opinion out now before I tell you what it is. I love it. And not only is it funny that I was kind of right, you'll see what I mean in a moment, but I love the direction they're going with it in, and I love the fact that they could go multiple directions with it in, all of which I enjoy. And I think it's a good move for them based on things we're going to be seeing in the future. You ready for this, guys? Because this is the big one. I actually have my notes up about it right here, if I could find them. Here we go. Hang on, I should check my notes to make sure. I actually took some notes here to make sure I didn't skip over anything. I talked about the Dark Portal. I talked about the Kill Jaden thing. They also describe a little bit about what it means to become a demon hunter. You devour the heart of a demon, and then you are partially transformed into a fell creature. And then you can see the Burning Legion in a more or less literal way, and you tend to gouge out your own eyes to make sure you don't see that anymore. They have a 1 in 5 survival rate, to give you an idea of that. I think that's the only other little thing I wanted to mention. Apparently it's Nethreza, not Nethzara. Excuse me, Nethreza is the name of the Nethrezim homeworld that was destroyed. God. Okay, so that's... Yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and get to the really controversial thing. Give me a moment. So, Illidan encounters an individual. This individual is the mysterious voice that saved him while he was interacting with Kill Jaden earlier, okay? This mysterious individual is referred to as an Elder Naru. An Elder Naru is mentioned as being more powerful than any of the other Naru combined. It is mentioned that it brings up the Void, and the Void Lords mentions how they are the real enemy, not the Legion. We kind of already knew this from Chronicles, but that is specifically called out here and mentioned to Illidan in character. Illidan gets marked by the Naru, and Illidan experiences a vision, which I'm going to read for you. If you'll give me just a moment. This is reading straight from the book here. Your experience... This is... So, I can't do... I'll call the... I'll do the Naru in a weird voice. Your experiences have forged you into that. A weapon aimed at the heart of a great demon. Illidan says, I would like to think I am somewhat more sentient than my warglaves. The Naru says, well, that is what makes you more dangerous. So the universe has anointed me to slay Kill Jaden. Illidan's tone was sardonic, but hope flickered inside him. Perhaps if what this Naru said was true, there was some chance of victory after all. The swirl of lights indicated a negative. No, your enemy is far greater than Kill Jaden. Greater even than Sargeras and his Burning Legion. Oh, wonderful, Illidan said, as if they were not strong enough. The suspicion that this was all a subtle mocking trap set by Kill Jaden sidled once more into his mind. He fought down bitterness. It seemed as all his sacrifices had gone for naught. If this was a trap, his struggle was ended. If it was not, things were even worse than he'd thought. The Void is a more potent foe by far than the Burning Legion. It is the ultimate opponent of the light. It will take all the peoples of Azeroth and Outland united to oppose it. The Naru stopped pulsing. You do not believe me. You lose faith and hope. Then know this. Before Illidan could defend himself in any way, a bolt of pure light blasted from the Naru. It struck his empty eye sockets and filled them with a golden glow. Illidan braced himself for a blast of agony that did not come. In the past, such magic had always racked him with pain. It would normally have done the same to any user of fell magic. His vision shimmered and faded, and he found himself looking down upon a terrible battlefield. Amidst mountains of corpses, a winged figure battled at the head of the Legion of the Light. A golden glow surrounded his warglaives. He cleft demons asunder with mighty blows. The soldiers surrounding him gazed up with awe and wonder at their leader. It took Illidan a moment to realize that this being's features were his own, transformed, his eyes glowing fiercely. The avatar of the light looked calm, strong, and at peace. His face was filled with confidence, shorn of all suffering. As Illidan watched, the winged figure rose above the battle, defying gigantic entities of darkness, creations of the evil void. A halo played around his head, his body glowing brighter than the sun, and from his outstretched arms, rays of light emerged to strike his foes. There was a sense of brightness about this, as if he looked upon a vision of unborn future. For a moment, he could believe in it, but then his doubts returned. This could not be true. It was not a path he had ever set out on. It was not who he was. He was a fighter, a killer, as driven by the darkness as his own desires, and as driven by the darkness and his own desires as he was by any urge to do the right thing. You will defy death, the Naru's voice said as the vision faded. I have seen this. Whatever you were, whatever you are, a champion of the light is what you will be. There was utter certainty to the Naru's voice, and it communicated itself to Illidan. For a moment he felt the light embrace him, and his heart was at peace. He had been given a vision of redemption beyond any he had hoped for. Peace filled him as he communed silently with the Naru. The moment lasted only a heartbeat, but when it ended, Illidan felt as if he might have been a lifetime. You will be a hero, said the Naru. Oh, but there will be a price. There always is. And then the book continues, and then Illidan dies. So, I already gave my opinion on that. As you might imagine, the internet is afire with people talking about how that is the worst thing ever. Seriously, I have seen people complain about WoW for 10 years. I have never seen people complain about anything more than this. While there are negative things to be said about it, absolutely, my first reaction was something along the lines of, hell yeah! So, as you might imagine, I like the direction that story is going in. Sorry, guys. Yes, Myron. Now, I actually had another little thing here I wanted to share. There it is. Here it is. Just give me 1 second to find the right page. So, now, one person... So, this is a good example. Yeah, I know, right, Fallout Bear? This is a good example of one of the legitimate complaints I've heard about this. I'm just going to read this word for word. He is written as a tragic hero. Getting a redemption arc would kill everything good he had as a character. Dying in Black Temple, just as he was about to go to Argus, possibly killing Kil'jaeden, all because of Akama's mistrust and a dash of Maiev. It is a sad, ironic ending to an even sadder story of unrequited love, jealousy, and hypocrisy. Sometimes the good guys don't win, and very rarely do good guys get punished for their good deeds. A good tragic hero comes along once in a blue moon, and Illidan was the best ever written. This guy needs to seriously get screwed over by Legion. And then he continues to talk about how he basically needs to not be redeemed. So we're going to scroll down a bit here. There's one other interpretation of this that I actually like. That interpretation is the idea that maybe this vision that Illidan was given was not literal. That Illidan would be a champion of the light, but not literally. He would not be, a paladin, to use such terms. He would not be someone wielding the light personally. He would just be a champion of the army of light, as I myself have described it many times in the past. By the way, there's a few times in the book that they refer to this army of light in the future, and I'd just like to say, totally freaking called it. So, of course, like I said, there's several ways to interpret this, and we don't know the direction they're going with it. It could be he's, some big avatar of the light, which I admittedly would not like that idea. That's also not how I interpret it, but shrug, obviously. There's the interpretation I literally just said, where he is a champion of the light, along the lines of, say, I don't know, Tyrion, Fordring, for example, and is this awesome person who is trying to fight in his own particular method and on behalf of the light. There's the interpretation that he is going to be redeemed in the Final Fantasy Tactics manner, which would take a while to explain, but to suffice, it means he will be a good guy that no one will really recognize as a good guy, an unsung hero, if you will. And I've seen a few other interpretations, after Prometheus, for reference. So, don't know. I actually don't know. I like the overall direction. I like them turning Illidan back into a force for good, if not a good guy. Because let's make this clear. The Illidan book makes it very clear he's not a good guy. I already mentioned that. And so making him into someone who is going to do good while still being a basically a bad person, in other words, the definition of an anti-hero, yeah, I'm totally down with that. It is way better than the Illidan we had in BC. It is something I've been wanting for Illidan for some time. The person who I have defended so many times because despite... It's one of those... There's a difference between someone who is not good and someone who is evil. And I have never felt that Illidan is evil. I have felt that he is not good. It's my interpretation. And again, the book really helps to emphasize that. All those people, all those souls he sacrificed and all the people he slaughtered, he didn't do that because mwahaha. He didn't do that because he wanted to hurt people or because he was trying to be evil or whatever. There was no evil intent there. He did it because he had to in order to get that portal opened to Nethraza, to the Nethrezim homeworld. It was the only way to make that happen. And Illidan has always been an extremely pragmatic individual who is willing to do terrible things in order to accomplish a good. He has always been, to be blunt, more of a Cisco than a Picard. And I like a Cisco-type character, I wouldn't mind if he does a real redemption arc. We'll see. I don't know. Blizzard's redemption arcs are weird. I mean, I liked what they did with Arthas a lot, and I liked what they did with Kerrigan a lot, but it is arguable that neither of those were actually redemption arcs, because Kerrigan didn't actually do anything wrong. The Queen of Blades did. We've talked about that. And Arthas, while he definitely did do wrong, was nevertheless a constant opponent of the thing that was really doing most of the bad, which was the Second Lich King, so... Then we will have to disagree, Raskor, on that point. For me, evil is all about intent. That's how I've always defined evil and good. Intent, not results, not actions. If you go to help someone and accidentally trip and stab someone to death, that doesn't make you evil, does it? No, of course not. You're going to help someone. But that is my interpretation of it, and of course is no more accurate or valid than yours, since the very concept of good and evil is completely dependent on the individual's perspective, because there is no definition of good or evil, nor indeed should there be. That being said, yeah, Illidan did some dark stuff in this book. It's a good book. I highly recommend it to anybody who wants to pick it up. I've already given away the big spoiler stuff, and like I said, it really, really fleshes out a lot of BC. There's one other thing I wanted to read here. If you give me a moment here. Sorry, give me a second. That's right, one last thing. So I mentioned how Illidan had managed to was opening that portal to Argus. Apparently, he actually successfully did actually open a portal and pushed through Vandal, who's basically the protagonist of the book, and who we see most of the book's perspective from. Yeah, go ahead, Kay. Link it to Deutsch. See if it's working. Um, and so I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing Vandal in the future as well. He's a Demon Hunter protagonist. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. I'm reading my own notes wrong. I was gonna say that didn't sound right. The Demon Hunter player characters go through the portal. Vandal's the one who's left behind. So again, I still think he's going to play some role in the story in the future. I'm not sure. What's up with that? I'll send it to Bragwin then because hers are working. Bragwin, if you can afford it, I say pick it up. Illidan is, I'd say, probably my second favorite WoW book I've read so far, after the Lich King one. I guess that's all I've got. I have to admit, I'm not. They could mess this up really easily. Let's just be honest about it. It would be very easy for Blizzard's writers to mess up the Illidan redemption, Hero of Light, whatever story. They could do that. As Raskor pointed out, they could turn him into some kind of chosen one thing, and I'm pretty sick of the chosen one thing too. They could make it so that they could make it so that for some reason he actually is turned into some kind of angel creature. There's a lot of things they could do with this that would, in my opinion, really mess it up, and I'm not sure that I would like that. I am hopeful. Like I said, my initial reaction was just awesome. That was my gut reaction. And when I sat to think about it, I realized there were so many ways they could take this in a good direction. One of the things I liked, and I didn't mention it directly, is that the Naru mentions how Illidan has basically always been a hero. Now, the definition of that by the Naru's statement is that even though Illidan is a bad person, he has always tried to do good. He is a bad person who has always tried to fight on the side of right. For his own purposes, for his own reasons, but he has always accomplished things on the side of right, and therefore he is defined by the Naru as a hero. Now, I would like that, Raskor. In fact, that's what I am hoping for, that he is one of the champions of light. Or maybe that he's the fighter, the warrior of light. You know, he's the one who's on the front lines, and then Anduin is brought in to be someone, and then the player character is brought in to be someone, you know, each having a different role in this army of light. And Illidan, I think, would be a good fit for a frontline general for that situation. In fact, excuse me, for those of you who remember my own comments on this when I was talking about my story ideas for where I would go, that was one of the things I mentioned. Have Illidan come back as the frontline general of the Army of Light. I was even calling it back then. Now, granted, that was a Babylon 5 reference, but still, you know, have him be the frontline general who's in charge of, not in charge of, who's fighting the demons one-to-one, you know, who's wielding the power one-to-one. And I think that'd be cool. But, moving on. So, scroll up. Scroll up. Well, Dr. Cid is a little more debatable, since we can only guess at his real motivations. I actually mentioned this when we were going through the playthrough of the international playthrough of FF12, because Dr. Cid might have just been interested in the power. He might have been doing it for science's sake. He might have been trying to build a better world for his son. He might have been trying to build a better world for the people around him. He might have genuinely believed in the cause of, you know, history back in the hands of man, etc., etc. We don't actually 100% know. We can only interpret based on the character. I think it's one of the reasons why Dr. Cid was actually a really well-designed character, because we don't 100% know, and a lot of him is debatable based on interpretation. There's your army of light, the Scourge. Excuse me. I like how Bragwin and I both really want the same thing with regards to Arthas, the real Arthas. Yeah, I wouldn't mind Arthas being given the peace of death. I really wouldn't. I just don't want him to be suffering in the worst place imaginable for forever. Just, oh. Anyways, so, yeah. Poor Arthas. The Avengers Warcraft edition. So we've got Captain Anduin, Iron Illidan, Jinou Widow, Nathanios? Really? No. Let's go with Sylvanas Hawkeye. There we go. Yeah, right. I'm pretty sure we're going to see some interesting things with Sylvanas and Legion. Also, good job on the image. Okay. So, I heard there's this thing called World of Warcraft. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's this game I'm playing technically right now. Check it out, by the way. I can fly! I'm free of the confines of the earth. Yes! Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. Oh, crap. It's okay. I'm dead. Who would be the Hulk? Oh, that's a good question. Arthas is in the worst possible hell. He is in the void, yeah. It is basically a place where you suffer forever, and the suffering never gets better, and it's horrifying, and it's dark, and it's cold, and it's actually described as just the worst hell imaginable. And he is suffering there at the moment forever. Where Sylvanas has actually been there as well. And that informs most of her character development since Wrath. She was so terrified, so horribly affected by being there, that she's willing to do anything to never go back. Legion! Oh, excuse me. Hey, look, I've still got my bowels and brains. Oh, Kel'Thuzon would be so awesome! He's still there! He's still alive, even in lore! That's not even speculation, it's just a matter of if they're going to use him, and how, and what. No, Thrall does not need to be a part of this. Thrall's... Okay, I like Thrall. I do. I know that's a very unpopular opinion. But I like Thrall as a character. I like a lot of what he's done. I like a lot of his presentation. But I think he needs to go to the back of the screen. You know what I mean? I think it needs to be at the point where he stops being a main character. He has been a main character for too long, damn it. He needs to go back to being a secondary or tertiary backup support character. Yeah, exactly. Thrall needs to retire. Okay? Legion spoiler Inc. in 3, 2, 1... There's an exceptionally high chance that Thrall is finally retiring in Legion, based on things that we already know from the Shaman story quest. Namely, the fact that Thrall basically can't use the elements anymore, for reasons I'm not going to go into right now. And that's why we're going to be wielding the Doomhammer instead of him. So I'm really hopeful that Thrall is finally going into retirement and finally taking a step back. And you know what? I gotta be completely blunt. Thrall kind of deserves a happy ending at this point. If you really think about his life and all the garbage he's been through in his life, he really does deserve to get back there, get with Agra, raise his family, and just stay the hell out of all this mess. You've earned it, buddy. Go. Just go. Okay? But this is Warcraft. How many characters have lived happily ever after in Warcraft? Or retired in Warcraft. So, yeah, I was going to say, it is way more likely that Thrall is going to die. And that will be his retirement. So. Neelis Aran, I don't think being killed by your son and then cursed to wander as a shade in your son's tower really qualifies as retiring. Anyways, right, so, quests. We recently lost a fierce battle against the Hosen at Moonwater Retreat. We evacuated as many of our people as we could, but still there are many we could not save. We have no tokens of our lost over which to send our prayers. If someone could go and retrieve the heirlooms from the dead bodies, we could properly lay them to rest and move on. It would mean much for us if you could do this for us, Cylon. Well, okay, I guess. If I have to. What about you? Oh dear, oh dear. The Elder mustn't find out. I must have left the Elder's ceremonial instruments behind during the escape, but Moonwater Retreat is crawling with Hosen by now. Oh, what sort of Pearl Keeper am I, to have lost them so carefully? Oh, stranger, could you find it in your heart to help me? Yeah, as I said before, I get what they were doing with the whole, you know, mortalization. Mortalization? It's such a weird word, because it's the opposite of immortalization. The mortalization they did of the aspects, but yeah, that was kind of ham-fistedly shoved in there. I do think they needed to remove their powers, especially the Bronze Flight. But that's for unrelated reasons, and yeah. So, you might ask, what kind of pets do the Jinou have? Well, as you can see, they have goldfish. And because they are watersmiths, they have no problem making sure the goldfish can wander around regardless of water. Seriously. Look at him. I've got my own too, see? No, that sounds about right to me, Foo Dogs. I mean, really, how many of these issues could be solved if people just manned up, took responsibility for things? No escape. No escape. So, now you guys got me thinking about the Hulk thing. Because the Hulk, in my interpretation, has always been the big, difficult to control, but ultimately the strongest guy around of the Avengers, especially the MCU. He's their secret weapon. They don't like to use him because, you know, there's such difficulties involved with utilizing him. You know, he is their secret weapon. Who would be the Hulk of Warcraft? From the good guys' side of things, I mean. Like, who would be the Hulk? Because, like, for the bad guys, there's a few things that would qualify as Hulk. Deathwing, excuse me. But, you know, for the good guys? Do we have some big, extremely, ridiculously powerful, but difficult to wield person? Other than the PC? Lord knows, as I've mentioned before, it's arguable that the strongest warlock in the entire setting at this point in time is the PC warlock. Garrosh. No. Let Garrosh stay dead, damn it. Death is already too intransigent in this setting. Jaina? I could kind of see Jaina, actually. Jaina is very, very powerful, and, well, a little on the unstable side. A gnome in the ultimate shredder. Yeah! Sorry. I would find that amusing. No, Foo Dogs. Well, other than the Prime, but he's gone at this point. He was basically the first Worgen. One of the original willing converts. Yeah, the Lich King does, unfortunately or not, sound kind of like a viable answer. The third Lich King. I'm referring, of course, to Bolvar's Lich Kingdom. We still don't know exactly how much of the third Lich King is the essence of the Lich King and how much of it is Bolvar. So he's an unknown quantity, even regardless of other speculation. In case you're missing what we're doing here, so this used to be part of their village, which the Hosen moved in and said, yeah, we're taking this. And that's a good question, Follow Bear. We're not sure. Oh yeah, so this is one thing they added in Pandaria that I absolutely loved. Every now and then you'd see these scrolls, and if you click them, they would actually show you a little bit of lore about something in the world, and there's a lot of these. And if you get all of them, you get a little cutscene. To wit, watersmithing. Unlike the fire and heat forges of the Pandaran and the Mogu, the Jinou have mastered the art of water forging. They shape stone and metal by using the pressures and currents of water. Originally, they would scavenge for polished stone and materials in the river. They developed an eye for the places that would provide the best quality baubles and rocks, and over the ages have learned to manipulate the water through their magics to craft exceptional edifices of rock and stone that defy rivalry. Their weapons and armor are as hard as any forged steel, and their walls appear to be constructed without seams. Yeah, no kidding, Warwager. Now, excuse me. What do you mean, Myron? It is worth noting that these little lore tidbits are actually wrong in a few points. But that's actually part of the appeal of them. These are literally supposed to represent Pandaran scrolls that you're reading, right? What I mean by that is these are not the okay, there's a difference between in-character lore and out-of-character lore. In-character lore is what the people know of their own history. You know, if a character were to tell you the history of their people, that is suspect because it's their interpretation of their knowledge of the history of the world. Out of character history is the creator of the setting telling you this is exactly what happened. Yeah, exactly, Raskor. It's the difference between an unreliable narrator and a reliable narrator. That's one of the reasons why several people, myself included, were so excited for that book, for the Chronicles book, because that is out of character history. That is the actual writers of the setting saying, this is what actually happened. And so these scrolls are all written in character. So a few of them are wrong, and a few of them are vague, and a few of them assume things that are not actually true. But I like that. It's part of the appeal. It's part of trying to piece it together and be like, well, why does this fit here, but this mentions this? Huh? You know. I like that. It's well done. It's well written. It's actually harder to write that kind of inconsistent history than you'd think. Yeah, the Mogu. God. So let's talk a little bit about the backstory of the Pandaran and the Mogu. Just a little bit. So, for those not aware, the Mogu are one of the original races, one of the indigenous races of Azeroth, alongside the trolls and the Tonka, and I believe there's a few others. Oh, gotcha, Myron. Ask me again in a second. So there's so they're one of the indigenous races, the Pandarans. The Pandarans had this massive, in-depth, complex, complicated, very culturally advanced society before basically anyone else, even before the trolls did. Now, the difference is the trolls forged into an empire. The Pandarans forged into a society, if you understand the difference, a civilization. So they were nowhere near as capable of defeating the trolls as they would be. When the Mogu were united, mostly thanks to Lei Shen, the Mogu basically rolled over the Pandaran, and in so doing, they did something that is unforgivable. They burned all of the old texts and history books of the Pandaran. All of that art, all of that culture, all of that history, all of it was erased. Now the Mogu, and Lei Shen in particular, did this because he feared the Pandaran. He realized that they would be incredibly competent if they were allowed to be so. But I seriously want you to think about this for a moment. I want you to imagine, because this has happened in real life too, if an entire chunk of history is just permanently lost because a conquering warlord decided that he was afraid of the peoples whose history it was and wiped it out. I mention that because that has a significance to what we were just talking about with the unreliable narrator. The Pandarians literally do not know all of their history. They can't. Nobody in character can at this point. Nobody's been around long enough and has been observing them long enough in order to be aware of their history. With one exception, which is there's that recording device that the Titans put down here that has been recording all the history of the entire world since forever. So that could tell them the truth. And I think that would be really cool of a quest chain to go find that to learn some, of true history. But anyways, but yeah, this is the burning of the library at Alexandria. It's just horrible. It's absolutely messed up. Yeah, no kidding, War Wager. You should trust me with the power of the Lich King. I'd be okay with it. So, well, it's funny you say that, Gnarlex. The answer is yes, if they ever bothered to observe it and chronicle it. Yeah, what Rasker says, if they cared. Remember, now they can't. Now it's after Cataclysm. They actually can't go back and observe the past anymore. So if they didn't do it already and write down the history, it's gone because they now lack the ability to go do it. Yay, Ron's fight. Okay, so to respond to Myron's question, he asked if we're doing the Avengers thing, who would be the Loki, that's Illidan, by the way, and who would be the Ultron of World of Warcraft. This is one of the reasons why I didn't quite go with Illidan being the Hulk, because Illidan is so clearly the Loki, at least by my interpretation of Loki, especially from the first movie. Holy crap. Sorry, Permeus. Oh, no kidding, War Wager. Hey, Tyrande, you see, yeah, I'd walk up to her as a troll. Hey, excuse me, Mom, I need to tell you that, we're actually related. No, so yeah, I think Illidan would be the Loki. I think that's an easy, obvious, immediate answer. As far as Ultron, a well-intentioned extremist who is blind in his own zealotry trying to save the world, and in so doing is basically destroying it. I think there's a couple of characters in Warcraft who would fit that bill. I'd have to think about that to narrow it down. My interpretation of Loki, in brief, because we're playing WoW here, is that he is not evil. By the definitions I used earlier, by intent. He is someone who has been screwed over by several things. He is someone who really does not, who is literally insane. Not just different, but he is literally insane. And he has been screwed over by his father, his adoptive father, his brother, and Thanos, more or less constantly. I think that if his brother, I think that he would probably want to re-embrace his brother if given a chance, if it was possible for him to do so. As I said famously in the, with regards to the Thor, why did I say famously? As I said to my friends with regards to the Thor 2 comment, or the Thor 2 movie, towards the ending, spoiler alert, Loki taking over Odin, or not Odin. Yeah, it's Odin. Taking over the position of Odin. It is my opinion that the only reason he did not reveal the truth of what he had done to Thor was because he believed Thor would never go along with that. But he was not against Thor, is what I'm trying to say. He no longer viewed Thor as his enemy. But Thor would never forgive him for the deception. Thor would never forgive him for going after his father because Thor still loved his father. But Loki viewed his father as an opponent to them both. So Loki thinks removing his father, Odin, was actually doing Thor a favor too. But he knew Thor would never be able to accept that or acknowledge that. So he hid it from him. That's Loki, more than willing to do evil, but not with evil intent. Again, which is why I compare him to Illidan so easily and readily. Yes, there are, Rasker. That's why I was like, just take your pick on that one. Wait, we need a mechanical, well-intentioned extremist. Whatever. I was gonna make a joke, but it was a dumb joke anyways. I can't remember the name of it. The gives you stuff bot. We still grieve for our fallen brothers. Thank you, Xylom. You do not know how much this means to the families of the lost. No, Cthulhu would be pretty easy to parallel. He's evil. He's just plain evil. Oh, that's true. The keepers count, don't they? Or do they? And I know what you're thinking, huh? Actually, can I show you this? Give me just a moment. I wonder if I can show you this. I don't think I can. I can! This is Ra, or Ra Den. He is the Prime Designate, the original Prime Designate. And he is... Blingtron, yeah, that's him. And he is one of the strongest keepers. He's the one whose power Lei Shen took. You know, he has to do with a lot of the backstory and history of WoW. The relevant point here, and I can't zoom in, unfortunately, but you kind of see those gashes in his stone skin. They reveal a red viscous liquid underneath. That's animus. As in, that red viscous liquid that's going through him right there. As in the stuff that turned him into that. In other words, based on what we read in Chronicles, and based on what we see of Ra, it is my opinion that the Keepers, all of the Titan constructs, like of this significance, are not fully synthetic, but they have a synthetic shell around an animus core. Which basically makes them cybernetic in relative terms. It's not one-to-one. But rather than being purely lithivoric, rather than being purely synthetic creatures, they are actually a merger of synthetic and biological. This is just a theory, but the book supported this, and you can see Ra right there. So, just thought I'd share that with regards to the Keeper thing that we just brought up. Ahem. The Elder is a water speaker. He speaks to the waters and they answer. Oh, you found them. Oh, thank the spirits of water. You have saved my tailfin. Whew. Our war against the Hosen wages without end, and the future of our tribe is uncertain. This is why our water speaker has decided to seek wisdom from the waters. Elder Lucian is waiting. Please deliver the instruments so they may begin. Yes, Shyandra. That's exactly what happens. Have you seen our lake? So calm and still. This is how we like it. Constant, unmoving. We do not bear change. Basically,
thank you. Let us begin.
Basically, yes.
Ancient
Narlex,
spirits of water. Hear my echo through the silent deeps. Awaken from the great waters beyond. Aid your children in this time of need.
More water magic. Again, everything I mentioned earlier, shamanistic, Loa, etc.
Brother, I see great darkness looming before you. Everywhere I look, the rivers have dried. But there is yet one path, one river, that may carry you through these
Holy crap.
difficult times.
It's us.
Powerful strangers come from across the sea. Seek their strength. Add it to our own.
A great darkness. Could he mean that we must trust these strangers? These alliance, after all?
No, don't do it! We're evil! Crap. It's too late. Well, guys, we're screwed. Another thing worthy of note with regards to the whole shamanistic connection thing for the Jinou, if you notice, that was actually an ancestor, an ancestral spirit specifically. So they also have the ability to contact their own ancestral spirits, and that's not surprising because the Pandaran do the exact same thing, and as we already know, the Pandaran and the Jinou are relatively connected. It is funny to me with the advantage of the third-person perspective, I look at this situation and think, I don't see why the Jinou are in any trouble at all. Why don't they just fully shack up with the Pandaran, and they'll be safe that way? The Pandaran and the Jinou could help defend each other, and they're fine. No more threat. But of course, I mean, it would probably never even occur to the Jinou to do that, to basically go running and begging for aid from people who are barely their allies. And, yeah, basically pride. That's where I was leading this discussion in the direction of. If you'll notice one thing, this is kind of giving something away, but of course most of you have already played all this. Pride is one of the big themes of Pandaria, and for a very good reason. But we'll get more into that later. I saw the vision. What do you think it means? I think it's clear you have to play some part in it. Well, I was in it. Yeah, by the way, as Bregwin points out, the Pandaran emperors used to come to the Jinou, back when there was such a thing as Pandaran emperors. They haven't been since the last one. There has been no actual nation-state government of the Pandaran since the last emperor, which was 10 millennia ago, by the way, during the War of the Ancients. So the emperors used to come to the Jinou and say, "Give me a vision of the future," and they would use that to base some of their rule off of. Xiao Hao himself did that too. We'll be seeing that later.
Don't worry about me.
Please. Oh, Xylem. You need to hear what we've been through. The whole damn Alliance needs to hear what we've been through. There may not be much time left. Oh god, I'm dying. Wait, where are you going? Where are you going? No, please, stop. Come back. Don't switch to the Horde. No, I won't make it long. It's okay, it's okay. It's an RPG, guys. That means no matter how long they're dangling over the side of the cliff, they'll sit there forever until you get around to getting them. He'll be fine. Yeah, that's actually true, Leander. Why do you continue to... Oh, crap, I didn't go back here. Oh, no, I actually agreed with you, Fuke. I just think that intention is more important. That's just my opinion, that's all. And see you around. Have a good day. And now we lose Bregwin as well. And then we lose Deutsch. They're dropping like flies. Yeah, like Renoa, exactly. That's actually exactly what I was thinking of. I just couldn't think of her name. It's okay, Renoa will be fine no matter how long we take. She's got very strong fingers. Somehow. Oh, there it is. That map that is called Mapster. It's my overall map add-on, and this is just an option in it. Weird. So that's what's doing the red coloring and show. I like it because it still shows the terrain under the red, so I still see the unexplored area, but I can see, well, here's the Windward Isle, or here's the Arboretum, here's the Pearlfin Village, etc. Rather than just having to kind of guess, like, well, it's around here somewhere. That's true, Godwin.
What's up?
So, these guys like fish, huh? How about we finish what you started? Make them love us. I got some explosive powder from the wreck. Just something needed to attract the fish. Guts is sure to do the trick.
Be good.
It depends, Chandra. But for the most part, they all seem to be just the same. Very rarely does it acknowledge race. So you want me, Hosen? Huh, Wicked? Hosen defend their lands from enemies like Jinou. Kaka fought many Jinou fights, won them all. Hosen only give name to good Grookers. Go Grook Jinou. Maybe they call you Volvaxis Volvaxis. Jinou creeping down by river. Ook 'em in the Duker. Guys, we're gonna ook them in the Duker. Sorry. I'm trying to figure out why my computer is making noises. What do you mean, Deutsch? Haven't you ever seen the Hosen? We were talking about the Hosen just a bit ago. He's gonna ook you in the Duker Hosen! Or in the Duker, Deutsch. Quick, run! Duke Autumn Shukas. You think that's bad? Wait until we get to the grenade quest, Deutsch, which hopefully I'll get while you're still here, so don't go anywhere just yet. One of the arguments that amuses me every now and again to hear is someone will complain that something isn't realistic in WoW. It's not unique to WoW, I've heard this complaint all the time. And the counter-argument is, yeah, how dare they have unrealistic things in my game where I play a walking cow who's flinging fireballs at people from a staff. I don't think that's a fully valid argument, it's just an argument that amuses me every time I see it. Would you believe I don't know what realism means? Oh, realism. I had to say it out loud. Realism. Thank you. Thank you. Ahem. Sorry for affecting your realism. Why are you ranting about Scooby-Doo? Scooby Snacks. Scooby Snacks. If you're ever in hot water and you find yourself in a foreign nation, there's two things you can do. First, you can say Canadian. That'll help you. But the second thing is just say Scooby-Dooby. Scooby-Doo. I won't say Scooby-Doo. Oh, Scooby-Doo, coming in, coming in. It's like some kind of international passport. Shaggy Scooby, Shaggy Scooby. The whole world loves America for Shaggy and Scooby. Idiozard. You know, that's an interesting question. What's more believable? The elf I'm currently playing, you know, long life, innate magical, blood, etc., long ears, or the Worgen I was playing a minute ago, the WoW's version of werewolves. Now, before you answer, I just want to point out those little red-looking things coming out of my hat, those are my eyebrows. Right there. Just to really make my point. These things extending like 6 inches from her back, or from her head, from back of her head, those are her ears. Also, her eyes glow with magic. Anyways. Oh, wicked Groot Uken Jinou. Have another fishy... Yeah, no, delete. I've got way too many of those stupid things.
Hey, how you doing?
You didn't touch that guts with your hands, did you? That's the stuff. Now just you wait and see. There, I've plastered your bird guts all over my explosives. I call them gut bombs. Patent pending. Since you made friends with these fellas, how about you do the honors? Just like to fuse and throw them down by the shoreline.
Have a good one.
In case you've missed what we're doing right here, what we're doing is we have bombs plastered in bird guts to act as bait for fish so that we can toss them into the water and get pre-cooked food. Seafood. You think Hosen are crazy, Wicket? Wait till you see Hosen with no slickies. Not enough slickies for Hosen and Wickets. Snappers! Hosen ate all the Uken snappers. Wickets can eat the snappers. Yeah. Ooh, go over there. Say, dynamite fishing is a thing. Whoop. Let's see how it works. Ooh. Hey, look, some exploded slickies. Oh, would you go away? No, I've never actually handled C4 myself because I don't feel like I need to finish that sentence, really. Exploded slickies, a pre-tenderized deep river delight. Now let's get some snapper steak. One nice thing they did in Pandaria, you notice how this is a gray item, but it has flavor text. A lot of the gray items in Pandaria, almost all of them, actually have flavor text added to them. Just for additional flavor lore. It's really cool. Like, not all of them do, but it's pretty much a new thing. They basically hired a group who's like, alright, here, make up stuff for the vendor trash. How many of you even knew some of those gray items had flavor text like that? Genuine question. Pax and I noticed our first time through, and made it a point to just kind of click everything to see if there was flavor text attached to it so we could share it with each other. You know, lore hounds and all that. Whee, flying. God, this place is gorgeous. Look at this. Imagine what it would be like to just be able to go down the hill and there's just this lake with fish and turtles and a level 86 elite who gives you a really funny mount. You think I could try and take him? What do you guys think? Think I should try it? I don't think I'm gonna succeed. Well, maybe I will. Why are you hating God mode at the moment? Okay, I think we've got this. This is a Mushun, by the way. They're big. They're lizards. They like to eat things. You know what they like even more than anything else? Yeah, super fast ground mount. Yeah. And then very slow in the water. Look how huge this mount is. You see that speck on its back? Yeah, that's me back there. Come on, make it. Oh, damn it. Oh, it's fine, Schmeidolf. He's harmless. Just have to tame him properly, like we already did. Technically, we're faster than him this way. This is about how fast he is on the ground, so a little over double this speed, basically. Wicken Grook Odom Uken Snappers. Oh, now everyone got grub. Great Hosen wisdom and Iki Iki. Maybe Iki Iki become chieftain someday.
Yo!
I've yet to face a crisis that couldn't be fixed with dynamite. We just revolutionized how these cretins, Hosen, feed themselves. They'll never be the same.
Keep it real.
Alright, boys, get some slickies fresh off the grill. And as you can see, he actually has a grill set up right there. See you around, preacher. Feel better.
Time is money, friend.
Hey, while you out, the scouts came back, and get this, they found some Alliance kid. You should probably go debrief them.
Keep it real.
Some Alliance kid? I wonder who that is. I'm sure it's not really a big important thing. Anduin! Holy crap! Except they don't call him that, notice. Young Alliance soldier with a completely unique model. Well, that's not true. He's actually got the skeleton of a human, but he does have a unique model or texture skin thing. So, I like how Shokia is just aiming her gun at him. So the whole time I was doing this quest, I was just sitting here thinking, oh god, can I please, like, step in and interfere with the fact that we have just kidnapped freaking Anduin? Stop threatening him. Stop trying to hurt him. He's really on our side, if you think about it.
Wicked, watch out for Jinou. Jinou hit back.
That's Rico. We'll be saying more of him in a minute.
Rico gotta make Duke anyways.
Have you brought fresh corpses?
Our prisoner is strange. He carries no weapon and his garb is untraditional. Perhaps he's a lord of some kind. With luck, we have captured someone valuable.
May your footsteps be silent, friend.
But when Pax and I were very first going through this quest, and Sis had the same reaction, we were like, can we just set him free? Can we just be like, look, we're sorry about this, but it's just a big misunderstanding here. Go free. It's okay. Go on, buddy.
This land will suit our people well.
We may have a problem.
You find the Alliance. You know what to do.
Yeah, stop pointing your gun at the Prince of Stormwind, and also one of the only people who uses his brain in the entire setting. Seriously, stop it.
Rico feel happy that Wicked is here.
I bet I know your first question. What the ook happened to Sergeant Gorok? Don't worry, he's totally alive. Not dead or anything. Well, we think he's alive, but he also might be very, very dead. Rico looks into your eyes for approval. Fine, let me tell you exactly what happened. Okay, so before we do these, I just gotta say,
bring slickies to Rico.
these quests are awesome. We're going to be doing the Horde side first, just because we happen to be on the Horde right now, and then we'll do the Alliance side. You'll see what I mean, but these quests are amazing. So,
Rico is lover and fighter, and duker.
a lover, a fighter, and a duker.
Grukin, Ukin.
So now we are.
Traveling east, looking for these Horkin human guys. Be on the lookout for Alliance. Things was going good, so we decided to split up for a bit. So Kia and Kieran went off to do some girl stuff.
Come on, Kieran. Let's go do girl stuff.
It was just me and Gorok. I let him take the lead, him being all big and all.
See how they're literally
We will
prancing off?
investigate this hut. Perhaps they have seen Alliance survivors. Good idea. You go first.
These quests are basically unreliable narrator 101. I love these. Hey, Schoolmeister. So now we are Sergeant Gorok. What do we got here?
Stay out. No visitors. Hey, Gorok. Which girl you like? Shokia or Kieran?
The voice actor for Rico really nailed it. Wow. Look at these jade statues. These are amazingly lifelike. Gosh, that is incredible. And they're all Pandaran children. That's not horrifying at all.
These statues, they're almost lifelike. Something's wrong here, Rico. You wanna know who I like? I like Kieran. Everything was going great. I felt like we was really bonding. After inspecting statues, we saw this old lady Pandaran come out the house.
To make something clear, by the way, Kieran, the one that Rico has a crush on, is the undead. The Forsaken woman.
Please, come a little closer, dear.
What manner of creature are you? My, look at that gorgeous green skin. I am an orc, ma'am. Would you mind if we asked you a few questions?
Oh, questions? You, orc, will make an excellent addition to my family.
So, Gorok, you think I have chance with Kieran? What the Oaken Hork?
I like how that took him several double takes. Did you see him looking back and forth? Like, wait. So, now he's Jade. But then she's there. But then he's made of Jade. But then... What the Oaken Hork? Okay, this is actually a small bug. I've actually only seen this like once before. That was all layering, so... It was supposed to teleport us back, because he was narrating the story, but it didn't. I love these quests. This is like, so. I mean, I love the whole Jade Forest zone, and there's a few quests that really shine for me, but these ones are always just, yes! The narrated adventures.
Rico never grouped the wicked. Well, almost never.
So as you can see, none of this is Rico's fault.
That was
All
good
right,
talk.
Rico, I
Rico
think
feel
we've
better
heard
now.
enough. Kieran can tell the next part.
I hunger.
Oh, sorry. Most of what Rico said is true. We didn't dare pursue Gorok. The Horde's numbers here are too few. Our forces can only sustain so many losses. And frankly, we don't know how powerful that witch really is. Let's pick up where the Hosen left off.
They never see me. We traveled south until night fell. Shokia spoke.
All right, Kieran. Rico. We'll set up camp soon. First, we'll take advantage of this darkness to do some reconnaissance.
Good idea. I'll scout that area up ahead.
And I will protect Kieran from danger.
No, Rico. You stay here. Try not to get anyone killed this time.
Aw, Doker.
This way, Kieran.
Note the statue in the distance, by the way. We'll see it a little more up close later.
I'll cover you from here. It's dark, so you'll have to mark my targets for me. Rendezvous back here when you're done.
So I don't know.
found some smoke bombs in my pockets. They'd have to do.
I don't know how many
If
of
I
you.
encountered enemies, I'd hit them with the smoke. Shokia's sniper rifle would take care of the rest.
I don't know how many of you know a whole lot about sniping in real life terms. Not in like fictional Fallout-y, Metal Gear Solid-y kind of terms. I mean in real life. I bring this up because I just like the fact that they actually have this whole spotter concept here, as opposed to, you know, a lot of games where they just seem to sort of assume that a sniper does not need a spotter. I also rather enjoy the games that bother to make a point of someone who doesn't need a spotter as a sniper, making them really, really amazingly good. Like the mere fact that they don't need a spotter, the fact that they're solo sniping, is kind of the point of how incredibly good they are as a sniper. And I called out Metal Gear Solid earlier, but to make my point clear, Metal Gear Solid 3 did one thing very, very nicely, where they actually specifically went out of their way to say that one of the reasons the end was amazing was he used the forest, because of his connection to it, as his second, as his spotter. So he didn't need another person to do it. Yeah, well, Hawkeye has actual superpowers. Oh, sorry. Hey, a campfire. I don't know why it didn't voice act that, but whatever.
Don't move, human. I've got you cornered.
Oh, this is
How
great.
exactly do you have me cornered, undead?
I've got backup. Watch this.
So you see that? That is a harmless raccoon. That's actually its
I
name.
see.
Harmless raccoon.
You're lucky I don't kill you right now. You look delicious. I returned back to camp with my quarry. Shokia would be pleased.
Well, I am not cute, Maddie. However, I am 33.
Come closer, friend.
And that's how we found our Alliance captive. But that's not all that happened. Not by a long shot.
Quick and clean,
Rico
friend.
time! I know
Quick
what
and
happened next!
clean.
Pick me! Over here!
Sure.
Rico can speak like wicked! Some Hosen call Rico a traitor.
We weren't only looking for Alliance, you know. We were looking for those snooked up, tick-flippin' Jinou. Okay, so in a little bit here, Rico is about to give probably the best insult I've ever heard. It's like a series of insults. For some of my fellow guild members can attest to this. I actually changed the guild message of the day to this insult for a while.
It's okay. Rico got it. We kept going south until Shokia started whining about something.
Look, up ahead. An Alliance bomber.
I see it, Shokia. I'll go take a look.
Shokia watched prisoner, while Kieran went ahead.
Don't you dare follow her, Rico. I don't want you messing things up again.
No, you tick-juggling orc! Rico done following you stupid orders! Maybe Rico lost temper. Little bit.
This is it.
You nothing but a blick-cheeking, dickety-doke maker with an hook for a head!
That.
Yelling at Shokia wasn't doing nothing. Rico decided to follow Kieran. All of a sudden, I heard noise.
Help,
Kieran was
Shokia!
trapped in Jinou nets. I save you, Kieran!
Have you brought fresh corpses?
If the Jinou set up this trap, they'll be back soon. Dark Lady, watch over us. They're here. Save yourself, Rico! Never! Rico protect you to the death!
All
back
right,
something
time to kill some
tasty.
squeaking Jinou! Come at me, Bruckers! I cracked knuckles and got ready for fight.
So the way this works gameplay-wise is we have an attack, which we uppercut them to toss them, and then we fling our own filth at them to do nature damage. But seriously, I just gotta say this one more. You nothing but a bleak cheekin' dickety duke maker with a nuke for a head! I love it.
Get away from our plane, Hosen scum.
Yeah, if you insist.
When I done fighting, went up to Kieran to ask for my reward.
Oh, God.
Rico, you saved my life.
So, can Rico get kiss?
Of course. Let me just take off my mask.
What the ook is wrong with your face? You chicken dead?
And yes, flinging the Duke is hotkey number 2 on the bar.
Rico never grouped the wicked. Well, almost never.
Yeah, so I ran away. So blinkin' what? If it wasn't for me, Kieran would be dead. Oh wait, she's already dead. Already. Go away, Rico's head hurts.
That was good
The
talk.
important thing
Rico
is
feel
that
better
these
now.
Jinou and Alliance have joined forces. Come speak with me. I can give you the final part of our report. Oh, am I still alive?
With our leader turned to Jade, our Hosen guide disappeared, and a prisoner of war in tow, there's only one thing Kieran and I could do. March into our enemy's territory to deliver vengeance.
Go on without. We set up a small camp in the hills above the Jinou village. With nobody to watch over our prisoner, I had to make sure he was incapable of escaping.
This always makes me wince a little bit.
What?
Sorry, Anduin.
I approached my sniper rifle and took aim at the Jinou village.
So, if you're paying attention, that's the village we were just questing at as Alliance. There's the lake I kept talking about. Remember that? So this is great.
Kirin had made it to the Jinou village. I spotted her lurking in some bushes on the village's edge. Straining my eyes, I could just barely read her lips as she said,
Shoot all the guards so I can move ahead.
So, this is impressive tech. Right-clicking them, somehow, and I'm still not 100% sure how they pull this off, triggers the script for them to take the damage and die. Now, there's something else they do which is absolutely brilliant. I'll show it off in a second.
Nice work back there. One more time.
None of them have done it yet. Sometimes when these guys wander behind the trees, they'll actually vanish from view. As they should, because, you know, they're out of line of sight.
Let's see if my Hosen poison works on Jinou. Try not to blow me up, Shokia.
the center of the Jinou village was clear. Just to be safe, Kirin planted some explosive barrels for me to shoot.
Hey, King Bubble. Oh, right.
That'll teach the Jinou and the Alliance to mess with us. Let's get out of here. Shokia! They've spotted me! Give me cover!
Here. Okay, so you see that guy who went behind? Well, okay. It's kind of hard to see, and I've only noticed it a few times more deliberately, but they basically despawn the creature while they're out of line of sight for a bit, before they move back and forward and you can shoot them. The time I remember at most,
the coast was clear. Kirin began to make her escape.
Was on one of these leaf sections, because you could kind of see through it.
Damn! Another Jinou net! We were so close, too! I sensed a commotion in the village's eastern island.
I'm back, you dukers!
Anyways, it was impressive. I like this quest in general.
I on way, Kirin, and I don't care about your weird dead face.
Such a romantic individual there. Remember.
Come on, Kirin. Let's get the hook out of here.
Never forget the value of a good sniper.
We will succeed.
The most important thing we learned was that not only the Alliance have befriended the Jinou, but they're giving them weapons and teaching them how to use them. The Alliance now control a force that outnumbers us 30-1, and we, the Horde, have befriended monkeys.
Stay alive, friend.
What's this? An Alliance boy here? Wait, I know your son, Face Human. You're the son of Varian Wynn. Sir, I demand to be released into my father's custody. Ha! Make another demand, Princeling, and I'll release your head from your shoulders. God, really, Nazgrim? Anduin Rin, a fitting reward for the trials we've endured. Come, speak with me.
Nothing shall stand in our way. Fear nothing. The Horde shall prevail.
Before we continue these, why don't we see the story from the Alliance's perspective? And I'm glad you like it, Norlex. I try. I may fail, but I try.
I'll be fine. We had traveled north through the forest for several hours. We stopped when we found a strange fallen tree.
What do you suppose happened to this tree, Sully?
Something hit it, sir. It wasn't cut down. It didn't fall on its own.
What's that over there? Some kind of bird?
No, that's a plane. Wait, a plane? That's Amber and Nim's plane. They might be alive after all.
Who are Amber and Nim? Can we follow him?
So I like this rogue's abilities.
She's still breathing, sir. Get over here. Talk to her.
So the first attack is a sure strike, which does damage. The second attack is a masterful strike, which deals a large amount of damage. The third is the twin strike, which deals an incredible amount of damage. Monkeys. They attacked. Fought them off, but they'll be back with more.
Listen up, men. Prepare for a Hosen ambush. Little Lou, keep Amber alive. Sully, try and keep this plane from exploding on us.
By the way, notice how
I'll
he's
hold them
healing
off as
him.
long as I can. I readied my swords for battle.
Probably not, War Wager. Strong, stronger, strongest. One of the ways the Jinou have of healing someone is basically by pouring their own life essence into someone else. They can then restore their own life essence from the waters. In other words, they can't channel healing directly into someone, they have to transfer it, but they can heal themselves. I just point that out because that'll be relevant a lot later. After these, I think we're going to cut it off for tonight. I really don't like the sounds my computer's making, and I really want to do a full diagnosis of it. Hey, it's Rick! But not Rico. Different person.
Sully, Little Lou, our plans have changed. We need to transport Amber back to the main camp.
That's not necessary. I'll be coming with you.
You've got to be kidding me. You're nearly dead. Look at you.
No, Sully. My injuries will heal. Right now, we need to find the White Pawn.
Wait, what's the White Pawn? I thought we were attacking the Hosen.
Yes, soldier.
And that's how we found. His speech dissolves into heavy coughing. The corners of his mouth produce a trickle of blood.
Carry
Well,
on.
please, save your energy. Sully can tell them what happened next.
I got the right tool for the job.
I agree.
We were still going north when we stopped near this big old clearing.
He considers me an agent.
No, but I can put one together in a pinch. Let's see, do you need a wood-cutting axe or a people-killing axe?
Yes, sir.
We're having bugs. Hang on,
Sully,
running bugs.
investigate those shrines to the west. Look for signs.
I haven't had this bug that often. Give me a second. See you around, Gnarlix.
You got something that needs fixing? You got something to report? We were still going north when we stopped near this big old clearing.
All right, agents.
There we
Listen
go.
up.
He considers me
It grows
an
late.
agent.
We should set up camp for the night. Sully, do you have an axe?
No, but I can put one together in a pinch. Let's see, do you need a wood-cutting axe or a people-killing axe?
Wood cutting. Little Lou, use this axe to gather firewood.
Yes, sir.
Sully, investigate those shrines to the west. Look for signs of the White Pawn. Amber, find a good perch and give Sully some covering fire. We'll rendezvous back here.
Aye,
Yes,
sir.
sir. This way, Sully. I see the perfect spot.
You can kind of see how these two
I'll
stories
hide
are
up here in the
analogous.
shadows. If you run into any trouble, just shine the light on the target, and I'll take care of them.
I found an old rifle scope in my pockets. It'd have to do.
There's
If
the
I saw
statue
anything
again.
dangerous, I'd hit it with a light, and Amber's sniper rifle would take care of the rest. Note to self, don't get on Amber's bad side. Note to self, don't get on Amber's bad side.
I like how our nickname is the Pickle on this character, by the way.
I found no sign of Anduin at the southwestern shrine. However, I did find a friendly raccoon who began to follow me.
Remember
I
this
decided to
raccoon?
name him Gizmo. Hey there, little buddy. I'm gonna name you Gizmo.
And
Gizmo! Amber, why? I didn't even shine my damn light. Shortly afterwards, another raccoon befriended me. I named him Socks and quickly moved on. Come on, Socks. Let's get out of here before you get sniped.
here's
Hits him
hoping.
between the eyes every time.
Whip, 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 whip. It's okay, we have Socks now. The raccoon. We're safe. That is a nice statue, isn't it? Oh, yep. Poor Gizmo. He deserved better, really. I like the idea that both the Horde and Alliance teams were here at the relative same time.
Found nothing at the Northern Shrine. No Anduin, no Hosen, nothing. After scouting the 3 shrines, I headed back over to camp. Socks followed along, faithfully. Note to self, don't get on Amber's bad side.
Since Anduin's camp would have been right around here, where we're currently standing. What do you think this is? Guardians of the Galaxy, Bregman?
I returned
Over
to find
here!
Rel being attacked by Hosen. Again,
Amber!
I swear. That woman never misses.
Sully!
No!
Little Lou! Anyone!
Poor Rel.
What do you need?
So now you know why Rel's all beat up. You detect a change in his facial expression, and he quickly turns away. Is he crying?
You got something to report? I don't think I can handle the next part. Little Lou, tell him what happened next.
Hello. Goodbye. Take care. Rel survived the attack, but he wasn't doing very well.
Rel's condition is worsening. We must stop to rest again.
If only Mishka was here, she'd fix him up in no time.
Fellow agents, this is a Pandaran hut. The Pandaran are allies.
Good thinking, little Lou. Go find out who lives here. Take Sully with you.
And Socks?
Yes, and the raccoon. I'll watch over our commander.
I think you understand what's about to happen.
The sign out front was not very welcoming.
No sign is gonna stop me and my best pal Socks.
The lawn was littered with small jade statues. They seemed almost lifelike.
This person sure has lots of statues.
Note that we know this is after the Horde one because...
One statue in particular stood out. I had never seen a creature like this.
Now, wait a darn minute. Is that an orc? Is the Horde here too?
After inspecting the statues, we saw a female Pandaran emerge from the house.
Yes, dear? Now look at this. A Jinou and... what is that? Some sort of beard sprite?
I'm a dwarf, ma'am. Can we borrow some food?
The beard sprite will make an excellent addition to my family.
No,
What
Sully!
in blazes are you talking about?
Sully!
I finally understood what was going on, but I was a second too late. Sully, those aren't statues on her lawn. She wants to turn you into jade.
Socks!
Socks! No! Run, little Lou! Run away! The ocean gets you too!
In case the action there wasn't clear, Socks leapt in front of the spell and became turned into Jade instead.
Nice to see you.
Luckily, we all made it out alive. Well, except for Socks.
Go with
The loss of the
water.
raccoon is the least of our worries. Our biggest concern is that petrified orc, and what its presence means. I can tell you the rest of the story. Reporting for duty. We made camp in the mountains. Little Lou watched over Rel.
Kill some Hosen today, Amber.
As you wish, Commander. I walked up to the top of the mountain and took hold of my sniper rifle.
So, you remember how we had a sniping mission on the Jinou village? Yeah, if your version
I
of
found
memory's
Sully
good,
waiting outside the village's entrance.
that's the Hosen village.
Straining my eyes, I could just barely read his lips as he said,
Shoot all the guards so I can move ahead.
Just think about all this blood the land is soaking up right now.
Nice work back there. One more time. I brought these monkeys some presents. Try not to blow me up, Amber.
Sully planted some explosive barrels for me to shoot.
This is kind of clever. If you pay attention, both quests involve you attacking an area that isn't
This
actually
one's for beating up Amber.
a specific quest hub of that zone for the other people.
This one's for beating up Rel.
So it doesn't actually conflict with the questing of the other side.
And this one is for Gizmo and Socks, you bastards!
You realize that neither Gizmo was killed by your ally, and Socks was killed by a crazy person. So I'm not sure that blaming the Hosen for that is really valid. Now, where is it? It's over here somewhere. Ah, I had it. There.
Nothing to see here. Let's keep going. Bingo! I see a horde crate. Cover me! I'm going out in the open!
They also make extensive use of layering, which also helps.
Just as I suspected, the Horde is here, in Pandaria. And they've allied with the Hosen. We need to bring this information back to Pearlfin Village. But not before shooting a few orcs in the head.
I see an opening! Here I come, Amber!
I found myself wondering who she shot instead of orcs there. After all, there are only 2 orcs who are here, and one of them's now Jade, and the other's Nazgrim. So...
Hello.
So there you have it. We didn't find the White Pawn, but we came back with intel that could be of even greater importance. That's right, Anduin doesn't matter to the Alliance. The Horde do. Him. I mean, yeah. I see that you and your people are desperate to find Prince Anduin. I know someone who may be able to help you, a Pandaran lore walker who knows this land better than anyone. I cannot guarantee what kind of reception you'll receive, but he will almost certainly be as curious of you as you are of him. So that's going to be a repeat of the Lower Cho stuff. We're going to hold off on that.
Good to see you, friend.
Elder Lusan and I have agreed the best path forward is that we walk together. We will share the Pearlfin our superior military knowledge and weaponry, and in turn, there will be a powerful ally should we again encounter the Horde. Take this crate of equipment and weapons. I need you to go around the village and equip the Jinou with weapons befitting their skills.
Remember, the king is counting on us.
Yeah. Very inconsiderate. Well, I heard the carrier has arrived, Vigilant. Oh, here we go. No? Yep, there we go.
The waters foretold of this meeting.
Magical arts. Here you go.
Farewell.
So we equipped them with Grand Marshal gear from old Alliance PvP, which makes me sad.
Do you hear the river's song? May your pools be ever full.
Seriously, do you know how hard I worked to get Grand Marshal weapons back in the day? And they're just handed them, just because they happen to be here. I know. Look at them. Bastards. But in lore, that's not really supposed to be Grand Marshal weapons so much as just Alliance weaponry.
Is life. The river goes where the river wills.
Healers. I also like the design of the Grand Marshal weapons for the Alliance. I never cared for the Grand Marshal, or excuse me, High Warlord design for the Horde.
The river speaks of your deeds.
Well, let's find out. This guy wants to be a rogue, so we'll give him a tank weapon. And he will accept it. That's weird. I have literally never given them the wrong equipment. so I just kind of assumed.
Listen to the river.
Well, whatever. We gave one person the wrong gear. Not sure if that means anything. It probably doesn't.
Adversity, our constant companion.
I've prepared a team of bright young Pearlfin trainees who need field expertise. Take them northeast into the bamboo wilds. Kill everything you find. Don't bring them back until they're fit for battle.
A soldier's duty is never done.
So, I'd really be remiss if I didn't point out the whole exploitative nature of what the Alliance is doing here. I mean, really. But now I'm going to go ahead and chop this off. Not only have we caught up to the Horde, but I'm really getting worried about the noises my computer's making. So I'm going to go look into that in more detail and depth. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to have a half day tomorrow, just as a heads up on that, and a half day Tuesday, just as a heads up on that. So not a full lore run on both days, just letting you guys be aware of that. For now, I will see you then.